With the release of the Myers rework in conjunction with the Sinister Grace chapter release, there's been a lot of recent discussion after Myers' new buffs about Ghostface. Ghostface is, just like Myers, a stealthy M1 killer whose entire power is focused on stalking and downing survivors in one shot. The difference is that Ghostface does not have a shared pool. Stalk applies to each individual killer, and post Myers rework, he is the only one whose power now is centered around exposed, as Myers can really only get that if he uses fragrant type of hair. So, now that Myers has been reworked and buffed and will maybe be slightly nerfed because Slaughtering Strike is really overtuned right now, I think. What other steps that behavior could realistically do to make Ghostface a bit stronger? Because the general consensus is that Ghostface is D tier. He's really only stronger than Trapper and Skull Merchant, and even then the Skull Merchant one won't last maybe, depending on how the PTB Skull Merchant feels. Which means Ghostface is just stronger than Trapper. A lot of people are suggesting a full-on rework, and I don't quite imagine that working as well. A lot of people are suggesting to just give him a dash like Myers, and it's mostly a joke, but I still think it is a terrible idea. And it won't even be possible with the fact that Ghostface already has his primary and secondary power buttons used. Primary power button is used for both going into Night Shroud and stalking, and he doesn't have a mode switch like Myers, so it's not like it can be disabled. And then a secondary one is used for crouching, which is one of the few things he can do besides stalking. So that's out, unless you completely rework him, but I don't see a rework working, which means you are left with buffing Ghostface's current kit. Now, there's a lot you could do. You could buff his base kit, and you could rework his add-ons, which I think might be the best way to go about it. I think a lot of Ghostface's add-ons, admittedly, kinda suck. I don't know if that's like an unpopular opinion, and I'm saying this as a Ghostface main, by the way, but I think quite a few of Ghostface's add-ons are boring, outdated, or they just suck. Some of them can be made base kit and given new effects. Others should just be reworked entirely. I also think a couple tweaks to his base kit might make him a bit better to play, and would maybe bring him up at least into C tier, if not like, you know, it would leave Trapper the only D tier killer, but it's Trapper, they're never touching that man. That killer is just dead. They're never touching him. I feel like he'll get buffed from every general buff in the game, as well as his own dedicated buffs, but they won't, like, you know, make him start with all those traps, because why would they do that anyway? There are a few add-ons that I personally think would be really good to be made base kit. Those are headline cutouts, Walleyes Matchbook, Chewed Pen, Lasting Perfume, and Dropped Like Knife Sheath. Headline cutouts increases movement speed by 40, while stalking by 40%. This is just kind of a nice feel-good add-on. It's the same thing with Walleyes Matchbook, which just reduces the cooldown by 3 seconds. Currently, Night Shroud's cooldown is 17 seconds, and that's really long. I feel like it's a little too long. That would just be a feel-good thing. Chewed Pen and Lasting Perfume also could be made base kit. They increase the reveal time for survivors in the dying state and on a hook respectively to 3 seconds instead of the 1.5 seconds. Now, Ghostface's reveal mechanic on its own is a discussion of topic. It is buggy, it's not reliable, but I feel like making those base kit allows for a lot of other fun things. And I said it, I think Drop Like Knife Sheath should just be made base kit, even if they nerf the haste effect to like 7 or 5. 10% haste for 5 seconds after marking a survivor. It's just really good. There's a reason this is one of his like best add-ons. I feel like if they were to make this base kit, even if it was only partial, and then give it its own new effect, I think that would be perfectly fine. Along with that, I think there are quite a few other add-ons that are in need of reworks, if I'm being completely honest. Those being cinch straps, which currently causes Nitro to remain active on missed basic attacks. This is dumb. I don't see anyone ever using this. This is probably his worst add-on, if I'm being completely honest. Marked map, I think, also is kind of dumb, and I don't see anyone using. All it does right now is increase the duration of Killer Instinct on being revealed by 2 seconds. It's not great. It's really, really not great. Olsen's Journal could also use a rework. Mark survivors suffer from Oblivious. I feel that's kind of pointless, because if you're marking them, they can't reveal you. You were already in Night Shroud. You have no terror radius. It's redundant, it's useless, it needs a rework. Telephoto lens, also, I feel, could be reworked without any problem. Survivors suffer from Oblivious for 60 seconds after revealing you. There are a few add-ons that Ghostface has that rely on you being revealed, and I feel like those are dumb. Not only do I feel like they are sort of hand-holdy, do-over, make your mistake add-ons, which I don't really think Ghostface needs. I feel like there are just better effects you could give him, like increased stalk range or something else like that, right? To, you know, just mitigate, give him more variety in the add-ons instead of making so many of them are built on being revealed or marked. Some of these just aren't. Again, marked map increases the duration of Killer Instinct of being revealed. Cinch Trap causes Nitro to remain active on missed basic attacks. I feel like some of these are just kind of useless, and I don't ever see them being run. So Telephoto Lens, I imagine, could also be reworked perfectly fine. I already said Shrewd Pen could be reworked since it would be made base kit, ideally. Oddly enough, I think Knife Belt Clip is a fun meme add-on that I don't necessarily think needs a rework or a buff or nerf or anything. I think it's funny. I don't ever run it, but I think it'd be funny to try and make a build around it just because why not? Lasting Perfume, it would be made base kit, so it probably need a new effect. Leather Knife Sheath, I feel, could benefit from a rework, like a mini Bamboozle or something, because right now all it does is increase your movement speed by 10% when crouched. What that will do is put you at 100% movement speed, 4 meters per second, because when you were crouched, you were currently moving at you'd be at 105, because crouch currently puts you at 95% movement speed. So what that would do is that would put you at 105, which would put you at 4.2, which is kind of useless. Olsen's Wallet, I personally don't really like it, and I don't use it, but I know a lot of people do, and I know a lot of builds are built around it, and it's a situational but pretty good thing all around, especially if you get into chases a lot as Ghostface. I can see instantly recharging the Shroud after breaking a pallet being really good. So yeah. Driver's License is very situational, but it's really good. I don't think that has to be changed. I already said Drop Leg could be made base kit, at least partial, and then be either given a new effect or slightly buffed to make it worth running. I would like it for personally to either increase the range of your next lunge attack after marking a survivor, or to give a bit of haste while in chase with a marked survivor specifically, because I feel like Ghostface's main weakness is he has no chase power. He is very, very bad in chase, unless you were good at mind games and stuff. If you were really, really good at the game and killer in general, you could probably make Ghostface chase work, but ideally you don't want to chase as Ghostface at all unless you have a build centered around chasing, or you're just really good at chases anyway. So I think a little buff to his chase in an add-on would be nice. Night Vision Monocular, I think could get reworked. Survivors suffer from exhausted for 10 seconds after revealing you. I don't see that being super, super, super useful, because I imagine they've already used exhaustion perks to get to you. At least like Sprint Burst. Sprint Burst is probably the biggest exhaustion perk out there. And also, if they're revealing you, they already have a head start on you anyway. So that can get to a loop. They can loop you. The exhausted will. They can slowly chip away at the exhausted, stuff like that, right? There are ways to make this like kind of not super effective, and I feel like again, I think a lot of the revealing add-ons kind of need to be shot dead. I don't think I would change victims detailed routine. And the eerie add-ons, I like outdoor security camera. I wouldn't change that. The auras of all survivors revealed to you for 7 seconds after putting a marked survivor in the dying state is not only very rewarding for using your power, it's good information. Because it can also, if someone is right there going for a save, they are now revealed to you and they get no idea. They have no idea that you know. So you can go for that. You can go for them and get them away so you can get the hook. Ghostface caught on tape is one that I have been very mixed on. This is technically one of his better add-ons. Instantly recharges nitro after putting a survivor into the dying state with a basic attack. I am not sure if I would rather this stay an add-on or be made like partial base pick kit with like a 25% or something like that, and then given a new effect or whatever. But I wouldn't know what to do for this one, so that's worth being an eerie. So I think for now it's fine. Because I don't imagine people use this one much, but I do imagine it is one of his better add-ons. So I also do think it's worth noting that right now Ghostface's stalk range is 40 meters, and while he's actively stalking, he moves at 20% speed. And so I think certain, I believe it was walleyes. No, it was headline cutouts being made base kit would just make that feel much nicer. That's how I feel about the add-ons and the add-on pass and reworks and stuff. I think a lot of his add-ons right now, or not a lot of his add-ons, but I think there are some add-ons that are perfectly fine. Philly and Cheap Cologne. These are really good beginner add-ons. I really like them. I don't run them as much, but I think they are very good basic beginner add-ons to help you get a better, like an easier time grasping how Ghostface works. Olsen's address book, hours are marked survivors perform rush actions are revealed to you for 5 seconds. This is fine. If you get into a chase with someone who's marked, you know how to get fit free aura reading every time they vault and stuff like that. It's fine. I don't run it, but it's fine. I could see this working. Life build clip again, very funny meme add-on. You could totally make builds with this like monitor and abuse, but I think monitor and abuse kind of got nerfed. Olsen's wallet I don't really like, but I can totally see the value out of it, so I wouldn't change that. Driver's license, very situational, very good if you get to get the value out of it. I would keep that. Victims detail routine, suffer from exhausted for 5 seconds after marking them. I know I kind of shit talked night vision binocular, but that's when they reveal you. That's for 10 seconds. Ideally, what this gives you is that you're marking them on a gen or in the middle of a chase where they can't proc their exhaustion perks. The main issue with this one, again, is that if they play it right, they can completely mitigate the effect. Might be a bit harder because they're already in chase, so they've most likely already used their perks. So they might have exhaustion already, and this might be on top of that. Kind of makes this useless, now that I'm saying it out loud. Maybe this one get reworked, but I don't think this one is a necessary rework. And then Ghostface caught on tape and outdoor security camera, I am perfectly fine with right now. So with the add-ons done, there's not really a lot more I would change. I genuinely think a lot of his add-ons being made base kit, or not a lot of his, like the 5 I mentioned being made base kit would be incredibly useful. And then I think he just needs some minor tweaks to his kit. One of the first things I would do personally, maybe the only thing I think would be really useful, would be extra speed while in Night Shroud. Currently his 2v8 innate skill gives him a 10% bonus to his movement speed upon being in Night Shroud. If they don't want to do that much, I would suggest the Fearmonger classes 5% haste while not seen by any survivors. I think that is fun, personally. Not only would the haste give him a better way to properly stealth around and get good angles on for stalking survivors, it wouldn't be too unfair because it would only apply while you're in Night Shroud, and if a survivor sees you, well, then you don't get the effect. And if they see you and reveal you before you mark them, then you don't have to hasten chase, blah 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 blah. I think it could work. I don't see anything else. I think that would be just a fun little buff to him. If they also go through with making drop leg, base kit, and then if they were to give him a slight bonus to Night Shroud's recovery for downing a marked survivor, I don't think he needs too much else to really make his kit work. I think those would definitely help him feel a bit better to play, and in general would maybe allow for more variety in his add-ons to allow more engaging gameplay with him while still keeping the stealth element. Because stealth killers in Dead by Daylight kind of hit or miss. I think Ghostface personally is really fun to play as, and I think when I play Survivor, whenever I get one, he's really fun to go against. Same for Myers. I know a lot of people don't like stealth killers, and that's completely fine. But I don't know. I think it's fun. I enjoy it. I'm not gonna stop enjoying it. But I would love to see Ghostface get some treatment after what feels like him being neglected gameplay wise for a good bit. I feel like because he's only recently gotten, what was his last update was 8.6.0, and all it did was reduce his terror radius from 32 meters to 24 meters. 8.4.0 gave him a few minor buffs. They reduced his cooldown from 20 seconds to 17 seconds. I really think it should be lower. Reduced marking time from 5 seconds to 4.5 by slightly increasing how much he gets per stalk. And that's really it. They haven't done much since, they really haven't done much since like 7.0, 6.1, 5.7.2, and 1. Because yeah, he only came out like 3.0.0, so yeah, I think the idea of completely reworking Ghostface is not a good one. I'd much rather just he gets some slight buffs to his kit, and for him to have just some add-on changes and reworks. I think some of the add-ons, again, some add-ons are fine as they are right now. Like 5 of them could be made base kit, and then the rest can be reworked probably. Yeah, I know I'm still like relatively new to Dead by Daylight, blah blah blah. My opinion probably doesn't matter as much, but I like Ghostface. I main Ghostface. I have an 81.29% pick rate on Ghostface. This is the killer I like. This is my favorite. Springtrap is a very good second, but I don't want to have to fall back onto Springtrap being my main. Because as much as I like Springtrap, I like Ghostface more. I like stealthing him more. I don't want to play Myers. I don't like the Myers rework. I really don't. Even with Fragrant Tuft of Hair, I still find it kind of annoying to play Myers now. I'm not a big fan of it. It is what it is, though. That's just my thoughts. This is kind of a rushed, unscripted ramble, so it's not the most elegant thing, but it's fine. I just want to get this out there because there's been a lot of discussion about this recently, and I figured I want to weigh my hat in. I think it's fun. So yeah. Thanks for listening. Sorry if I annoyed you because I don't know what I'm talking about, maybe. It's possible. I'm still new to this game for the most part. I have a few hundred hours, that's about it. I know, that's like, oh, a newbie giving his thoughts, but like, this is a character I spent most of those hours playing. 81% of my playtime is on this killer. I like Danny Johnson. I don't want to see him getting premeditated pounce or some stupidly named charge dash ability because BHVR is creatively bankrupt and can't figure out a way to make Ghostface more like stronger without reworking him into removing what identity he had. If this had been Scream Ghostface, I would not care as much, by the way. I think that would fit Scream Ghostface, but it does not fit Danny Johnson. That's just my 2 cents. Yeah. Thank you for suffering through that. And goodbye.